The fire department is progressing fairly well as you join us. It has been made such by men that have preceded you. You are one of the gang as long as you improve, but until you help us improve by improving yourself, the department remains ours, for we made it. Not so very long ago, a small notice appeared in a local paper. The year was 1869. Shortly, a meeting in the mayor's office would officially form the first all-volunteer steam fire engine company. 104 volunteers signed up, equipment was purchased, and Cedar Rapids had its first fire department. 25 years later, the volunteer force became a paid department. The new central company consisted of a chief, 9 men, 1 piece of fire apparatus, and a team of horses. Here's the Red Grasshopper, a 55-foot aerial truck purchased in 1895 performing a ladder drill. The department grew along with the city. So did the chance for devastating fires. By 1903, there were 4 stations in town. A station on 1st Street West, Central Park B station on 13th Street Southeast, and the Central Fire Station near the Quaker Oats plant at 214 3rd Street Southeast. In spite of the department's capabilities, fire claimed the Clifton Hotel in 1903. It was a total loss. This picture shows the sad remains. Fire struck the National Biscuit Company in 1907. The flames were so intense that 3 streams of water did little good quenching the blaze. By containing the fire to the south side of the building, the firefighters were able to save the Lagano Machino Group building. As a reward for saving his home in 1909, W.G. Haskell gave the fire department a check for $50. He was persuaded to double the money, and it was placed in a local bank, thus beginning the Firemen's Relief Fund for those injured in the line of duty. This is Hose House number 5, which opened in March of 1910. It was adjacent to Riverside Park on C Street Southwest. The new station answered its first fire call on its very first day of operation. It took several hours to put out the Kimball Building fire in December 1916. Explosions in the drugstore's basement sent sparks and flaming debris flying over 2 blocks of the Loop District, starting small fires on nearby buildings. By 1917, plans had been drawn and construction started on a new central fire station. Located at 427 1st Street Southeast, this station opened in the latter part of June 1918. Horses had been vital to the operation of the department and had served faithfully, but the inevitable time to motorize the fire department had finally come. The City Council voted to purchase 3 American LaFrance combination chemical and hose trucks in May of 1918. Added to trucks bought for the 4th Avenue and South Side stations, the Cedar Rapids Fire Department was finally completely motorized. Douglas Starch Works, 6:30 p.m., May 22, 1919. Explosion shot dust and flames nearly a mile into the sky. Doors and windows were blown open and shattered in a 3.5-mile radius. 6 companies fought the blaze for 10 days, suffering burns, smoke inhalation, and other injuries from secondary minor explosions around the plant. Spontaneous combustion was the cause of the explosion. At 1424 B Avenue Northeast, a new station number 3 opened October 17, 1925. The old station at B Avenue and Center Point Road was sold and removed. Shortly before 8 p.m., January 31, 1931, an alarm reported fire in the Newman department store. The fire in the stock of chemicals and cosmetics in the building raged more than 3 hours. After a second alarm, every fire company in the city became involved, and more than a few firemen near the blaze became critically ill from toxic fumes while fighting the blaze. This is what remained of a proud store. Station number 3 acquired this quadruple pumper truck in November 1940. It was capable of pumping 900 gallons of water per minute under 120 pounds of pressure. Until the outbreak of war in 1941, the Central Station distributed toys for needy children. Working with the Salvation Army, the firemen began accepting repairable toys in 1929. They made the necessary repairs, and their efforts made thousands of children's lives happier. An estimated $100,000 damage resulted from the fire at Klinger Paint Company on August 13, 1942. Some 50 firemen responded to the 4:13 p.m. alarm and fought a fierce blaze fed by exploding cans of paint and chemicals. Arson at Coe College. Within minutes after its discovery on September 4, 1947, fire shot up the Sinclair Memorial Chapel bell tower. The roof was engulfed in flame and the chapel was lost. Post-war growth of homes and industry required more fire protection. Thus, a new station, known as Number 7, was built and opened in 1948 on First Avenue near Kenwood. In 1955, the chief put the faithful 1926 American LaFrance hook and ladder truck up for sale. Its age and concern over safe operation on city streets were keys in the decision. One of the city's biggest fires occurred in May 1964 at the Tip Top Distributing Company. Although 9 trucks pumped streams of water on the building, it was doomed even before the fire department arrived. After the pall of heavy smoke over the city cleared, this is all that was left. Also in 1964, a child was playing with matches in a garage on June 1st. The garage, a frame house, Auto-Right Electric Company, and Cedar Rapids Lumber were incinerated. The blaze was out of control before the fire department could arrive and would take 6 engines and 45 firemen to tame. At the fire's peak, intense heat blew out some 35 windows at nearby McKinley School. At the Lapes Flower Shop on 3rd Avenue Southeast, the Cedar Rapids Fire Department used its new foam firefighting machine. The alarm came in at 9:08 one evening in March 1966. Firemen pumped cooling foam into the basement, allowing them to reach the rear of the building. By 10:45 p.m., the fire was under control. Communications. Going online in April of 1970, a new communications center at Central Station allowed the fire department dispatcher to coordinate and control each piece of equipment and its location. Symbolic of the department's fire prevention and safety program, Sparky joined up in 1973. A dog puppet in full fire uniform, Sparky's visits to area schools delighted and taught the children do's and don'ts of fire safety. 1,000 gallons of water each minute. With 100 feet of ladder, this new 1975 Persh was the city's first yellow vehicle to join the unrelenting war on fire. More arson. 2 15-year-olds were charged. The fire ravaged and destroyed the South Side Sash and Door Company at A Street and 17th Avenue Southwest on May 13, 1975. So intense was the heat that windows across the street were shattered and the new yellow pumper's paint was blistered. Sparks from a workman's cutting torch on January 6, 1977 resulted in firemen trying to contain the roaring flames of a 2-alarm fire at the Whitwer building. The fire department's arsenal of rescue equipment grew in October 1978. Hydraulically powered Jaws of Life dramatically added to the department's ability to rescue and remove victims from tragic wreckage. The Jaws of Life may well be one of the department's best assets. Change, progress, and need. Construction of a new central fire station at B Avenue and 3rd Street Northwest began in December 1984. And now, here's Pluggy. He was a remotely controlled robot introduced by the Cedar Rapids Fire Prevention Bureau in January 1985. Song, dance, and a siren were his attractions. Another cutting torch ignited Toxic Tuesday. National headlines were made when sparks lit toxic materials lining the old city sewage treatment plant at 8th Street Southwest. Firefighters pumped more than 200 million gallons of water on the blaze and bulldozed smoldering remains in efforts to control and extinguish the fire. Another Persh truck, this one with 110 feet of ladder, joined the department in 1985 and delivered 1,250 gallons of water per minute on July 26. Begun in 1984, the new Central Fire Station opened December 18, 1985. Offering some 26,000 square feet for operations, it replaced Old Central. Late in 1986, 3 new stations were put in service. There was Station 8 at Wiley Boulevard on 1st Avenue Southwest, Station 4 on 42nd Street Northeast, and Station 9 on Broderick Drive, northeast. From horse-drawn, steam-powered units to state-of-the-art modern equipment, the Cedar Rapids Fire Department has grown with the city and its needs in firefighting and rescue operations. Today, Central Station features a small public museum. Vintage equipment, historic photographs, badges, mascot photos, fire extinguishers, ladders, and, of course, the old fire pole are on display. And while visiting the museum, pay special attention to Bill Whipple's collection of fire marks, relics of a time when only private services fought fires. We're grateful for donated materials which made this possible. Additional fire-related items donated to the museum are always welcome.